Dearest, gentle listeners, you are listening to The Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the ton. We are your effervescent hosts. It is your favorite third wheel Kay from the Buckeye State.
And Patti, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her epically abundant era.
Settle down onto your favorite settee as we delve into the lives of the elite and illustrious ladies, lords, and royalty of the ton. This Bridgerton podcast is two friends talking romance, symbolism, Easter eggs, and deep diving into the connections of our favorite characters. We cover both book, TV series, and notable social media, and therefore will contain spoilers.
Dearest listeners, we are missing our favorite Kiwi today, but in her stead, we have our lovely KK Chips. We shall continue with our analysis of season 3 when Tasha's feeling more herself, but today we have a treat for you. And I want to say here, like, Tasha's okay. She's just on the struggle bus right now with this illness and wasn't feeling, we didn't want to leave you guys hanging for another week. So we invited Kay along and we're going to have some fun today.
We are.
So we are going to finally have the showdown of the ages. Colin versus Debling. Who really was Penelope's best suitor? The ultimate conundrum. Does she choose love or money? Connection or security? An empire lent to her or one she can own? Neither one of those matter to Penelope because she has her own money. Everybody thought there was a choice, but she already had money. What did she need Debling for? Anyways, I digress. We shall present the facts of the case so this can finally be laid to rest. Colin or Debling? There are no swords, but both men duel for Penelope's hand. And pretty much duel to the death because Debling is going to ride off into the Northwest Passage and not come home.
Unbeknownst to both Colin and Penelope, though. So is it really
unbeknownst to everyone, like nobody realized just how dangerous the Northwest Passage was.
Dude literally signed his own like death certificate. It's like that's kind of hilarious. You would sign your marriage certificate and your death certificate within the same year. Like, come on.
Right? So just going to throw this out there. As we say, this is two friends talking Bridgerton. So we wanted to still follow our pattern and our formula. So there might be some coaxing and coaching going on, but we're going to have fun today. I'm so excited to do this. And Tosh is rooting us on. She actually had been considering doing this for a while, like for contingency plan or whatever. And when I asked her, I was like, I'm not suggesting this because I want to replace you. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, just full disclaimer, just so you know, I'm not trying to replace you.
Like, neither one of us wanted to miss 2 weeks in a row. This was the first week we missed in 2 years, and it felt weird. So, we've had entertained a guest before. We've had Kay on before, so makes sense.
Yes, I'm more than just the third wheel. I'm the backup.
Yeah, you're now the backup plan.
Yes, I'm the backup plan to the backup plan.
KK, the contingency plan.
Hey, that's what I do. That can be my new jingle. KK, the contingency plan. Get your KK today.
Okay, so as we do, it is now time to talk about our pod snacks. I told Kay she must bring pod snacks.
I was held hostage.
And I feel like for the last last little bit, I mean, the timing of when we pod is early in Tasha's day. So there's a lot of times she doesn't have pod snacks because, she ate breakfast with Ezra and stuff on the way to school. And I watch myself just eating because it's usually like my dinner time or my snack time.
Yes.
And it's like,
it's just the perks of having friends on other different sides of the world,
right. Yeah, like thank you to the YouTube universe that actually watches us on video that has so far not fat shamed me.
It's like, well, you don't understand, it's dinner here.
I mean, everybody's got to eat, so
yeah, whether it's girl dinner or not.
So pod snackity snacks. My pod snacks today are, I'm so excited. went to the grocery store, I normally order delivery. One, I'm
Mhm.
not going around the store and getting tempted by things. And two, with my leg, it's just easier for me to just haul stuff in from the front of my door and not my car.
Yeah.
So I found that at the store that something they do not have on DoorDash or Instacart is my favorite Jenny's popcorn. Jenny's
Okay.
is local popcorn. They originated in like Lorraine or Elyria. They're out there somewhere. Fun fact: someone I used to work at the bank I worked at in Ohio, she went on to work for Jenny's popcorn for a little bit.
Cool.
I loved it. She would bring us these huge, like 5-gallon size bags of popcorn, and my favorite is the hot cheese popcorn. So I'm snacking on that. And once again, I also found these at the store. I have the pistachio lint candy bar. They
Can't
still
go
don't
wrong
have the
there.
pistachio truffle balls in the US. I have not found those yet. So, and then
Hmm.
my ADHD self, of course, has multiple drinks.
Yes. I didn't know that you couldn't find pistachio chocolate in the United States. Is it just, like,
No,
country specific?
you can no, it's Lindor.
Oh, okay.
In Australia, I think it was Sarah or Di who showed a picture in Tangent Squad that they had gotten the Lindor truffles, the truffle balls with the pistachio filling, but all we have in the US that I have found is the candy bar,
Oh,
not
okay.
the truffle ball. So, yeah,
Huh.
I would love to try the truffle ball because obviously it would have more of the pistachio in it, but and that may be like we're just a more expensive economy, so
Possibly.
like that truffle ball would be there. Those truffle balls are 85 cents at the good old Dollar General. So that tells you what one truffle ball costs. And mind you, literally like a year or 2 years ago, they were 3 for a dollar. Now they're
What?
85 cents a piece. Yes.
That's
Yes.
insane.
That is my PMS and period medication. It's those Lindor truffle balls. So I know how much they cost.
I mean, that
But
makes sense.
yeah, so I don't think we'll get the pistachio truffle ball because there's so much pistachio in it, it would definitely be more expensive. So what are you snacking on, Miss
Well, I don't have any really cool snacks on such short notice. I was going to dive into the
Because I
Kinder chocolate
literally
bar.
was like,
Huh?
"Are you busy?" Because
Yeah,
I was
you're like
literally like, "Are you busy?"
it's like, "I was just driving in a thunderstorm. What's new?" You know? "What do you need?"
Right.
Just casually
July in
mentioning it.
Ohio.
Yeah. You're just driving, it goes hot, and it goes like, "Bam, thunderstorm." I was going to dip into Kid Sif's, Kinder chocolate bar, but he has not had it yet, and I did not want him angry at me. So I decided to I don't want to face that wrath of the Sith Lord. So I
You
decided
don't
to
wanna
do
pretend like it got lost?
oh
Ooh,
god, no,
Nutella.
I cannot do that to my poor man. So this is the, Nutella and Go with pretzel sticks. These are ridiculously expensive to
I
get,
know,
like
they're dumb expensive.
it makes no sense. So, like, I think to get a 10-pack or a 15-pack at Walmart, it's, like, $13. It's ridiculous.
Dude, save yourself. Get a jar of Nutella and go get yourself some Biscoff cookies. Your sticks are then way bigger and you get way more Nutella on them and they are fantastically delicious and
I
cheaper
mean,
than $13.
I've thought about that. My only issue is that these are great for, when he goes to school because he still has, like, a few more days of school left, and I was just like,
Mhm.
"Do I want" it's like, "Do I want that headache, or can I just pop it in there and go, and, like, there's no mess?" Now
True.
now for the summer, I will definitely just get him a jar of Nutella and, like, the cheap pretzel stick bags for $1 and be like, "Go to town, kid."
Screw the pretzels. Get that kid some Biscoff cookies. Aunt Patty said so. They're delish.
Okay. I'll be like he'd be
Have
like, "Well,
them
why can't I"
have them try it at least once.
Okay. We can film the experience.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's like one of
Yeah.
my favorite snacks ever is Biscoff and Nutella.
Hmm.
So good.
Gonna culture this
Okay.
boy.
So that's your pod snack of the day?
That is my pod snack of the day. Highly recommend it.
All right. Bridgerton news. Bridgerton news.
Yes.
This will be This will be a back and forth because, as I have said in previous weeks, Kay is one of my sources for Bridgerton news. She is a reporter for the Ladies Bridgerton News. We do have another contributing reporter to Bridgerton News in the form of Sarah. Sarah has sent me some recent Bridgerton news. I wanted to let Sarah know that I got her email and that we're saving one of your Bridgerton news for when Tasha and I podcast again because we have thoughts. That's
So
the one about Jess Brownell's interview. And so, but since there's a whole bunch of awards that have happened, and Sarah submitted one of the awards. She submitted me the awards about the Australian TV Week Logies. Am I saying that right? I don't want to say Loogies because that's hawkers in the US and gross. But I'm hoping it's Logies. And Sarah, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me, as I know you will. I look forward to it. So Kay is actually going to talk about all of the awards. So take it away, Kay.
thank you very much. So
I just wanted to give Sarah her byline because she's been waiting patiently because I forgot to do that. I couldn't find them last time.
yes, well, she did a great job. It's actually, I think she found that the Logies, I think the same time that I did, because I had posted it to you guys in our Tangent Queens group chat. And so for those of us here in the United States who don't know, the Logies is like the Australian version of the Emmys. And coincidentally enough, Yurin Ha did not win her Logie award. Well, or was it a nomination? No, she won it, right? It wasn't
These
for.
are nominations, yeah.
Okay, so she got a nomination for her role in a show called The Survivors, which I believe is a Netflix exclusive show. I didn't really dive into it. I was just happy to see her get some credibility, or well, I shouldn't say credibility. She got some acknowledgement for something other than Bridgerton, because,
Yes.
you know, as some people don't know about Urine, is like, this isn't her first rodeo on TV. She was in Dune Prophecy, which is
And Halo.
Yes, and Halo, which I thought was phenomenal. And I was going to check out Halo when they had announced Yaren Ha as Sophie Beck, but I believe Halo was behind a paywall and I was not paying another subscription, you know. But I thought it was really cool that they got, this is different from Bridgerton. They don't normally bring in a lot of like pre-season TV show actors or actresses to play the love interest.
They focus on theater. A lot of their talent is very versed in theater, which I love. I think that brings so much to the show.
Oh, absolutely. But I thought it was really cool that they brought an actual season TV show actress. And I would argue that, like, with her caliber of acting, it was the only way to go to match Luke Thompson's theater background. That's just my opinion.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying that they did a phenomenal job. So snaps to you, Yaren. So to continue on with Bridgerton news.
Are you going to mention, do you have that? Because it also includes Florence Hunt in the Logies was nominated for mixtape.
That part I did not have, so thank you for helping me with that.
Yeah, so byline to Sarah, also nominated in the category of Best Miniseries or Telemovie. Florence Hunt was in a miniseries called Mixtape that featured on, I'm assuming these are streaming services, Binge and Foxtel, and it was the show was called Mixtape. So she was also nominated for those same awards. Now, go ahead with the next one. Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to get that out there.
No, I appreciate it. I was kind of hinging on Sarah's report. So moving forward, we're going to talk about the next round of awards, which is the National Film Awards UK. And we have 3 very specific acknowledgements to give out. The first one goes to Regé-Jean Page, who won Best Standing Ovation. He won Best Actor for You, Me, and Tuscany. Yes, which you, me, and of course, Dude, our lovely own version of our own male version of Third Wheel for us East Coast ladies.
Our Ohio Third Wheel.
Yes. Yes. We all went to go see Regé-Jean Page and Halle Bailey, I'm sorry, do You, Me, and Tuscany. We We went to opening night, and it was a phenomenal experience. So phenomenal, pure rom-com, old school gold, just perfection
Just
every
got
which
a
way.
classic vibe to it.
It was glorious. It was gloriously predictable, gloriously cheesy. It was every it nodded to every 90s rom-com I loved. It was amazing.
It was
The
perfect.
And Reagan
Bridgerton
was so
shout
good,
out
like
in the bloopers too.
Wait, what?
The Bridgerton shout out in the bloopers from
oh
one of
yeah,
the
the
extras.
the credit bloopers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
She's
was
like,
so good.
"He burns for you, baby. He burns for you."
He burns for you. Yeah,
It was
so good.
hilarious. My goodness. That was a good time.
Yeah, bloopers was a good
And
send off for the
before
theater
you
experience.
before you read the other two, I just want to say these are when I announced these awards that they were up because they are fan voted. I let you guys know to vote for them, and I had a list of the ladies Bridgerton, like what we would choose, and
Mhm.
all of these winners were on our list, obviously, because they're our Bridgerton peeps. So
Oh,
great
absolutely.
job for everybody who voted. But we have two more winners to
Yes, we do.
discuss.
So the second nominee, well, I shouldn't say nominee, but the second acknowledgement that we have, also at the National Film Awards UK, is the Magic Fairway Tree, which we all know stars the multi-talented, amazingly gracious Nicola Coughlan, and it won the category for Best Comedy, Film, and TV.
It
And
needs to come to the US. It needs to
yeah,
come to the US.
yeah. Which do we have any news on that? Nothing.
I've seen nothing. If anybody has figured out how to watch that, if you live in the US, please let me know because I want to see it so much.
I wouldn't be surprised if it involves a VPN. To be honest,
I'm sure it would.
I
VPN and a subscription to some foreign streaming service.
always. Well, for what it's worth, I'm still stalking the Colin Bridgerton subreddit on Reddit, and there's not much news lately about Nicola or Luke Newton. So if something comes up, I will be sure to report about it. And finally, what we have here for the National Film Awards UK is season 4 of Bridgerton with our beautiful leads Yaron Ha and Luke Thompson. They won Best TV Drama Series. So Bridgerton is
Whoa.
still in the spotlight after all these years, and I'm here for it. I love it.
And we have Bridgerton winning one other award, correct?
Yes. So to move forward, we have the SEC Awards, which apparently stands for Southeastern Conference Awards. I don't know where they're held. All I know
We don't
is
know
that
the southeast of what. We have no idea.
we're clueless. All we're doing is reporting the news. So first up, we have Yaron Ha won for Best International Actress in a TV Series at the SEC Awards, and we have season 4 of Bridgerton has won Best Streaming Series at the SEC Awards. And I want to provide a footnote. This is Bridgerton's first win at the SEC Awards. It has been nominated 2 other times. First for season 1 of Bridgerton when it came out in 2020, and when Queen Charlotte made its debut as the interim between season 1 and season 2. So Bridgerton finally
Interesting.
clinched the SEC win. You would, and no shade to any of
And
the
like,
seasons.
do we know if 2 or 3 even got submitted? Like if they were even submitted, you know what I mean? Like if they were submitted and they weren't even in there.
That was not shared in the OP post. It said that this is his first win and that the only other 2 seasons that were, I guess, were up for consideration or at least submitted was season 1 and Queen Charlotte, which, again, no shade to any of what we currently have for Bridgerton. But I have to say, with how viscerally people reacted to Queen Charlotte, I am surprised that Queen Charlotte did not clinch that award when it came out because it was nobody has anything negative to say about Queen Charlotte. The fandom
Queen Charlotte is by far, even though it's standalone, Queen Charlotte is by far the best the most well-crafted season, in my opinion. Like,
Agreed.
from writing to directing. And honestly, my opinion, and this is only my opinion, and all humans have 2 things, an asshole and an opinion. So take it what you will. My opinion is it's because it had fewer writers because it was just Julia Quinn and Shonda Rhimes herself writing it. And it had one single director for the entire series, and that was Tom Verica. Like, it doesn't need to be multiple. When you only have 8 episodes, I don't think you need multiple fingers in the pie.
Yep.
The last episode too is the most emotionally impactful for me of all the seasons, where it shows the flashback of her and George under the bed, and then
Oh,
them
yeah.
in
Like,
present day.
you
Like, there's
you
nothing
can't
heavier.
finish that season. I literally have only watched it twice because it guts me.
Makes you cry so viscerally.
Right.
Yeah, when you make it to where, like,
Okay.
people can't even rewatch the seasons over and over, you did a
Right.
good job. You did a
And
really
it's
good job.
and I haven't rewatched season 4 for that reason too, but that is not necessarily, well, and I'll say this. It's not necessarily the writing of season 4 was so great, although it was a lot better than 3. I really do think that, I give a lot of guff to Jess Brownell, but I think she is, you know, learning, and she's made this show her baby. And although I think she's given Colin and Penn a raw deal, I think
Mhm.
she's improving. Like season 4, craft wise, the craft of it was there. You could tell it was, she had way more, the word I'm looking for. Like she had taken the lessons of and the experience of show running season 3 and put it into season 4, and it was the better for it. So I do think some of the reason I cried so much in season 4 is not so much the writing of season 4, but the fact that they decided to give us so much of John and to flesh out his character instead of being a flashback from the books. We got to have a real character, and he was so charming and
Mm.
so intuitive and loving to Francesca that his death just, we all grieved with her. Like it wasn't just like in the book, it's the like almost the first thing that happens, and you don't not invested. They let us invest in.
Mm.
Okay, so the Bridgerton news I want to talk about is not Bridgerton per se. It's Bridgerton adjacent because it's Regency news. So first of all, we all know that a new Sense and Sensibility is coming out because the new trailer was out, and I went and looked up the cast, and I found out Katrina Balfe is in it from Outlander and was stoked.
Mhm.
I guessed it who her character was. I gave 2 guesses of who I would love to see her play, and she is one of them. She is the mother,
She's Lady Dashwood.
Lady Dashwood. Super excited about it.
That'll be interesting.
And then second, Patty's got to get up on her soapbox. Her justice hackles have arisen.
Oh, no. What happened?
The the other Bennett sister, this was also submitted by Sarah, I think. Let me check.
Gotta give everyone their proper shout-outs.
I want to give everybody their props.
Mhm.
The other Bennett sister, okay, I'm not finding it right off the bat. So wait, here it is. It is Sarah. Sarah submitted this news. The other Bennett sister is getting a Christmas special.
And we can't get one for Bridgerton.
We've been asking for a Christmas special for literally 3 seasons now. Since season 2 is when I started seeing it in fan groups and stuff. We need a Christmas special. It's too long between seasons. We need a Christmas special. We need something. Give us a Christmas special.
Mhm.
Now, in my whole fandom, my favorite Christmas specials ever were done by USA with Monk and Psych. They always had some like Christmas in between seasons, some random Christmas special to get you through the drought, because their droughts were not as long as these are now, but they were still long enough because
Mhm.
at that point in time, those channels creating original content was such a new concept. Like they were not network television, so they couldn't operate like network TV.
Mhm.
But yeah, we want a Bridgerton Christmas special. Like, I don't want to tell Jess Brownell to do her job again. I already said that once, and then we got shadow banned. Not by Jess Brownell. We are having it. We got put on YouTube Music all of a sudden. The podcast, YouTube decided to do it.
Okay.
And because we're there, we got copyrighted for our sponsored episode promoting the Bridgerton original podcast. And I don't know if it's because they aired the Bridgerton original podcast originally was on Netflix for the US only, and it was on YouTube for everywhere else in the world. So I don't know if that's why, because we got we got a copyright when it first came out. We emailed YouTube and we said, "Hey, we have a sponsor." They asked us to do it. Here's our emails. They were like, "Cool." This time we did the same thing, and they're like, "Nope, still stands." So we don't know.
Really? That's strange.
So we don't know. We're gonna recover from it. We know on our end we were asked to do it. It was something we enjoyed doing because we love the original Bridgerton podcast. We use it, we listen to it, and now we can watch it because it is on Netflix. But we use it for show insights for our analyses. So we've used it to talk about Colin's character development in season 3, the costumers, stuff like that. We've used it to talk about canon, what is somebody's backstory, because an actor will have created a backstory for their character, something that we don't see on camera that they've thought in their head this character would have done. It is definitely one of our research tools, and we love the Bridgerton original podcast. So, I'm really kind of disheartened that this is the case and that it's hurting us. Not that we necessarily wanted it to help us. We were helping them, but at this point it's hurting us and it's kind of sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hopefully.
so I just want to say, please, we respectfully ask and manifest that Bridgerton, although now forget, don't think you're going to be a copycat. We just want a Christmas special. And if you don't want to be a copycat, give us something else. Give us Michaelmas or give us some other English holiday that the family can get together.
That'd be really cool. Right, because
they never did the masquerade ball as Violet's birthday, so why couldn't we have a big Violet birthday party still? Give us something. We want it. We would love it.
let's just manifest it hardcore, man.
Do you wanna say the next tagline?
Do I? What is the next tagline?
We must. Now we must.
Oh, now we must make haste, right?
We must make haste to
We
today's
must
episode.
make haste to today's episode. A little better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, Tangent Squad. So, here's the format of today's battle. This is how the battle is going to go.
Yes.
It is Colin versus Debling. First, we are going to take my recent, if anyone remembers, a few podcasts ago, I found a YouTuber called the Sleepy Professor or something like that. And I'm going to be so mad. Hold on. Let me go back in my notes. I want to be fair.
Yes.
Sorry
always.
that the solid ADHDer is the one leading the I don't have a chaos coordinator today. I am just chaos. Okay. Tosh just keeps me in line.
Yeah, next time we'll have to just do bullet points. And I'll just put a
bullet
timer.
points. I have bullet points, but I forgot to write down my sources for my stuff. Anyways, it's not the first time. I couldn't remember exactly, but there is a YouTuber who does these videos where he educates. He speaks in a calm voice, quiet, kind of taking the concept of some people find learning about something, it kind of gives your brain something to do, so it allows you to fall asleep, right? And that's why some people fall asleep in class. Well, he did a 2-hour YouTube video about Regency era marriage. Specifically, he chose a time period of, he said 1811 to 1820, but specifically 1815.
Okay.
1814, something like that. My guess is that choice was because of Bridgerton and the years Bridgerton is supposed to be operating in. And he talked about when a gentleman comes to the lady's family to advance his suit or whatever, to advocate for his suit for her hand in marriage, to ask for permission to ask her, which is not normally how it's done. So now that I'm thinking about that, snaps to Debling. He wasn't saying, I want to take your daughter and we're going to arrange this. He wanted permission to ask her. So there's that. So that's a plus.
Very gentlemanly.
I don't have a lot of pluses for Debling. So there's that. But there's my one pluses. No, I have other pluses. But
my one plus is that he doesn't have a plus.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to present Colin and Debling on paper, what they would have provided to Portia and Archibald, if Archibald were still alive, to say, this is what I'm bringing to the table. I want your daughter's hand in marriage. Like what they would have to bring according to Regency era, like protocol.
Okay.
Then we are going to look at the mirror moments of interactions with Penelope, how they treated Penelope, things that happened, what I noticed, like, because even though it was shorter, Debling and Penelope had similar points of their quote unquote relationship, their courtship, that mirrored her and Colin since season 1. So we're going to analyze those head to head.
Yes.
To see, and then we're going to determine, well, I'm very biased, so I even wrote the notes biased, but in the end, we're going to basically prove why Colin was the better choice. This is because, in my opinion, this is because there are so many people out there that's like, I don't know why she didn't choose Debling. He's so nice and he has all that money and he would be gone. Well, what does it matter if he's nice if he's gone?
Right.
So,
Seriously.
starting out, Miss K, who do you think is the better suitor on paper?
Better suitor on paper, hands down, it is Debling.
Correct. Coming to the table.
He was titled for one. So, like,
titled for one.
That would suggest that he was a first son, right? So he inherited all of that land and the title and all of the money that came with that.
Yes.
And let me just say that, like, it's not much, but he was a first son with the title and he had a large estate. And knowing how Portia was, she wanted a very advantageous marriage for her family. So
yeah, at least one of her daughters. She never thought it would be Pen, but she wanted elevation in society. Her main character arc is to be, I don't want to say be exactly Violet Bridgerton, because I think being that nice and popular and everything would make her skin crawl. But
yeah,
because she likes being gossipy and a little bit petty.
Yes.
But I think that that's her goal. Like, she wants to be elevated like Lady Cowper, like Violet, and she's just not. She's barely in the ton. Like, she's barely there. And she wants
she
to be
has
more
the
of
title,
a fixture.
Like, low key, like, the Featheringtons, like, are pretty much hated, and it's not for the reasons that they think. So Portia thinks that they look down their nose at the Featheringtons because based on, like, your guys' analysis and, like, the things that she's been saying since season 1, you know, especially more so in season 2 when they had no money after Archibald was murdered, right? She keeps talking about Cornwall. She knows an awful lot about Cornwall, which would suggest that she grew up there. So she probably
Or has poor relations there. Like, she's worried she's going to become them, or she was them and she rose to get elevated into the ton herself.
Right. So if we are to believe what your analysis is, we believe she possibly came from Cornwall, was given an opportunity to debut in London to have an advantageous marriage to uplift her family line, right? Kind of like what happened with Marina, where she came from the country, had a 4-figure dowry, but she just needed the right sponsor, to elevate her family line, right? So she thinks they look down their nose at them because they don't have as much money as the other people do. Because technically, being a baron, they are low on the totem pole. As far as, like, they're the absolute lowest, so they don't have as much money. So Portia thinks that because they don't have as much money as the Bridgertons, and based on the way Archibald managed the finances, I would argue that their baronship isn't
barren.
Not just that, but the way he managed the estate, he clearly was either a third son who wasn't taught how to manage finances, or what if he himself was a poor relation that came into money, kind of like how
one of my original imaginings. Yeah, one of my original imaginings was that he was a cousin.
Yes.
They were poor.
Yes.
They were poor. They lived in Cornwall, and the girls were babies, like 3 and younger, 4 and younger.
when they
So
came
they
to
don't
live.
remember that life,
Mm-hmm.
but all of the, like, his cousins that would have been in line, like, they all had a shipping company or, they were on a ship and they went down. Kind of like in Downton Abbey, every heir that the family knew, there were two, were on the Titanic when it went down. So now they had no idea who the heir was, and then they found it was Michael. So, and he was a poor, like a million times removed relation. He was an attorney. He was a man of business, not a man of leisure. So it was like, oh my gosh, what do you mean you're still going to work when you take over the title? Are you kidding me? But like,
It's like,
I
what else
feel
do you
like
expect me to do?
Portia and Archibald, like, came in nouveau riche, kinda like they won the lottery, and they just didn't handle it well.
Yes,
'Cause, like,
which is
the ton is not against them because of their lack of money. Their ton is against them because they openly gamble. She is so vulgar and so title seeking and, like, throwing her daughters at dukes and princes and things and
yes.
talking openly about advantageous marriages. Like, we all know the ton does not like that. And she's so abrasive herself. It's really how they comport themselves is why they are not well liked. Not the money thing.
Right, and Portia excuse me, Portia can't make that connection. It's giving Mrs. Bennet from Pride and Prejudice.
Very, very much so.
So,
So I will just like to repeat, because I went back and checked. When Portia tells Penelope what she likes about Debling, it is that he has one of the largest homes in Mayfair. He
yes.
has 24 staff. That's housekeeping, footmen. 24 staff is a lot. The most we ever see the Featheringtons have at the beginning of this season, when she has the fraud money that she's playing off like it's an inheritance,
Yeah.
they have 10 or 12. I think I counted on the front step. 10,
Okay.
12 tops. So 24 is double what they had when she was flush with money after the fraud originally happened. And we know how Portia spends money. I think by this point in time, a lot of it has run out because we don't see that much staff running around anymore. We see
Yep.
Ray, we see Varley, and a few other people rando, but I think they're back down to like 4 or 5 maybe. He also has a fleet of curricles. A
Yeah.
fleet. Multiple carriages. A fleet. And he travels often. So there's money for travel along with all of this stuff. And travel means he won't be there. So there's no watchful eye. And they are the ones who get. She says Penelope gets to manage the estate, but then she turns around and says this will elevate her. Like, she's thinking about herself.
Yeah.
Now,
Which had which
on
had
the
me which had me to question, could he really give the power to Penelope to run the estate while he traveled?
yes,
Okay.
that's his. We look at Anthony and Kate. One of them runs the household, one of them runs the books. Now, he doesn't do much, like, he's not in parliament. There's not a lot of investments. What they already have, they have. So she would, rather than have a steward, he would just make her
Okay.
he just wants someone independent of his family. Cuz I think, like, him coming in season 3 at this point in time after the fraud, where they specifically said, Jack and Portia said, they have literally everyone in Mayfair. Now, they've already touched everyone and they have to expand the operation if they want to make more money. So that would have to include the Deblings. Although we know that his name's Alfred, I believe Alfred Debling, I think, right?
Yes, that was his
He
name,
was
Alfred.
gone. He was gone because he said he had come back and he wanted to find a wife before he left again. He was getting ready to leave again to go to the Northwest Passage. So I think he came back because wherever he was traveling, because somebody invested in his stead and lost money, and he had to fix that, and that's why he's looking for a wife. He wants
Yep.
somebody that he can advise via letter or whatnot on how to handle things. Now, on the flip side, we have Colin, who is not titled. He has 2 brothers ahead of him who have as yet to have any children. And the
Yes.
Bridgertons are very prolific, so we're assuming they're going to have at least 1 or 2 sons. Colin has no inkling in his brain that he's ever going to be the Viscount. None.
No.
He doesn't think he's ever going to be the Viscount. No one in Mayfair thinks Colin's ever going to get to be the Viscount. That everybody knows he is going to be a mister. That's it. He owns no property, no home of his own. The house that he takes Penelope to, that he has the key to, he says it's been in our family a long time. This was actually, if we go with our theory that it is the Love Shack because it's the same set, it's similar, and the similar frontage. This is Antony's love nest with Sienna. This is where he housed his mistress. So Antony had bought this townhouse. It was now sitting empty because Sienna had left. Colin got the key to it. Hey, we have an empty house. I need a house so that I can get married. Because everything Colin has is at the whim and whimsy of one Antony Bridgerton. Antony came to him in season 2 and asked why he withdrew, what was it, a couple $1,000s?
It was a very large sum.
He said, I saw you withdrew a very large sum. And Colin's like, yeah, I'm doing something with it. Like, he didn't want to tell him. He didn't want him to know. He kept asked Penelope for her confidence so that Antony doesn't find out. Only Antony's watching every move that's made in the books, that's made in the bank accounts. So he brought it to him like, hey, what are you doing?
Yep.
And then by season 3, we know any large expenditures that Colin does now has to be signed off by Antony, but in this case, Antony's gone. So Benedict has signed the power of attorney. So Benedict has to authorize his withdrawal.
Yes.
Which means it could cause problems with Antony when he comes back.
But
so Colin has nothing. Colin is money adjacent. He's a trust fund baby.
Yes.
If he pisses Antony off, if he creates enough of a scandal in society where he is ostracized by society and the family has to excommunicate him to continue enjoying their place in society, he has nothing and he becomes poor and destitute.
Yes.
And so does his wife. And what do we think is going to be the most scandalous thing in the ton?
Oh,
this
yeah.
Is why Colin bolted. This is why Colin bolted from the room after the queen bounced into the wedding.
Yep.
He didn't want to answer to Antony.
Yeah.
He didn't want Antony figuring out it was Pen because Antony could be like, you're cut off.
Yes. And then what would they have? Nothing. He has nothing of his own.
He has nothing of his own. And then as far as his family, because when we look at their two families, so money-wise, title-wise, estate-wise, carriage-wise, Colin owns nothing. It is all lent to him because he is born into the same family and they're close.
Exactly.
Debling is the heir. He controls everything and he has a large estate and everything, but he's trying to, because he's estranged from his family, he's trying to create his own family so that his family doesn't have control of the money anymore. So we have one really close family, one not. That plays in later to what I think is best for Pen, considering her own upbringing and the family she has. And we also have, how is Debling described by society?
Eccentric, mostly. They just said that he's eccentric. And he had
peculiar.
But he had enough money to be weird, so nobody questioned it.
Yeah, but nobody was his friend. Nobody hung out with him. He admitted that when he talks about his passions, he does not get dinner invites.
Yeah. He has managed to turn off society to where they can't even, like, be polite and fake society and be like, oh, yeah, let's invite him. Because no one wants to hear him talking about the birds, and no one wants to hear him talking about how, like, he's a conservationist and how he was like no bash to vegans, but he was definitely the stereotypical annoying vegan.
Well, not even that. Like in 1815, like being vegan was unheard of. You had to have meat. They believed meat was
the end all
necessary to your health. Yeah.
Yes.
Because people who didn't eat meat, because back then they didn't eat a lot of, they still weren't eating a lot of fruit and veg. They were eating some, but it was a meat and potatoes kind of diet, really. That if somebody didn't have meat in their diet, they were malnourished, and people died off from malnutrition because they were, if you look at Outlander and that time period, which was 60-ish, 70 years before this, people were afraid of fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
Well, part of it was tomatoes because they would serve tomatoes on plates that had lead in them and they didn't realize it was lead poisoning. But because
Ah,
the acidity in the tomato would activate the lead and people would
gotcha.
die. So people were afraid of tomatoes. But rando facts, Patty picks up. So we know that society loving Penn would lose society, much like Cressida, who loves society. If she would have had to marry Lord Greer, she would have no society.
No.
And that was just as bad to her as thinking about having to make 5 babies for him. Penn would not have society because they'd get invited nowhere. They would get invited at first because I think there are enough people that would invite Penn because it's Penn.
Yeah.
But Debling being so singularly focused on his passions would turn people off, and then Penn would get less invites because you don't just invite the wife to things.
No.
Back then. Right.
Well, unless you're Lady Danbury.
Now, truthfully, and I want you to take into consideration all seasons, how does society talk about and view Colin?
I mean, he kind of had his own identity, but his identity was being a Bridgerton, if that makes sense.
Yes, he was a Bridgerton, so he had some popularity because of that.
Yes. Like, he's like, Bridgerton, because I don't know if you ever noticed, but, like, in society, like, even in season 1, it wasn't, "Oh, Anthony." It was Bridgerton, season 2, Bridgerton, you know what I mean? Like, it was always just Bridgerton, whether they were talking to Anthony, whether they were talking to Benedict, and whether they were talking to Colin.
Right.
So, that alone,
But
the name
Colin has
itself is
friends. Like season two, he is surrounded by people. Season 1, he seeks out Penn a lot, but we do see him on the dance floor a couple of times.
Mhm.
We see him on the outskirts, on the edges of the dance floor talking to people, not just his brothers
Right.
and whatnot. Season 2, we start seeing his friend group, which was Antony's friend group also. I think, they
The
all
Lord
kind of hang
Squad.
out at the club and whatever. Literally, the only disparaging remark that truly gets said to Colin, to his face, is you are a lot more fun this season.
Yes.
Meaning they find him dull. They find him nice enough to hang out with. He's somebody they include in their group. So he's kind, he's nice, whatever. He's just dull, meaning, he's not truly a rake. He's not betting on everything. He's not.
While being a stereotypical man of his era,
Yeah, yeah.
he would be technically a Renaissance man, which, if they found him dull
He was
because he did.
sensitive.
Yeah.
He was sensitive and they were trying to be alpha bros. Like if this was, if they were 2026, Fife would be like, think Howard Stern. Howard Stern had 2, and I can't think of their names, but he had 2. Well, he had the one lady for sure, but then there was this other guy that was always on his podcast or radio show, which basically acted like a podcast.
Okay.
But he had these other 2 people that were like subordinate to him. Like I don't want to say lackeys because for Howard Stern, and I can't think of her name, so sorry, but I loved her interactions and her input because it was like a boys club when NPR started and those radio shows started and whatnot.
Mhm.
And he was so abrasive and just out there. And she was just like, I loved her. She softened the show a little bit. And I think that was the point it was supposed to be. But she proved like she could be just as raunchy. She could be just as, out there too. But she could be one of the boys, but she could always be like, call them out on their shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
she was the balance.
I don't think Stanton or Wilding would do that. But I see Fife and Stanton and Wilding would have this like alpha bro podcast, right?
Yes.
know?
Oh, and they aren't
And,
just alpha. Oh, and they aren't just alpha bros. They are definitely finance bros.
So well, yes, but I think their podcast would be alpha bros. Like, I don't know a single podcast. I don't know podcast names or characters, but just insert your alpha bro podcast here, and that would be those 3. But I see Colin being like, and I know he's had some recent backlash for something he said, but he truly is empathetic to everyone, and he believes everyone deserves therapy. Like, I see Colin being like, Therapy Jeff.
Oh,
Have you
okay, there
seen
you go.
Therapy Jeff on social media? Or Jimmy on relationships? I think Jimmy on that's a Colin vibe too.
Oh,
Like
okay.
sensitive, like you want to have good communication to keep your woman. Like it's about keeping the relationship and being equal partners and working on your bullshit so that the relationship works. Like those are
This kind of
Colin.
stuff.
And
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So that is the boys on paper. We have
Yes.
no money, or all his money is
In a trust
given to
fund.
him, lent to him. He's a trust fund baby. He has a very close family. So there's a possibility she will have decent security for the rest of her life, but it is still questionable. There
Yep.
could still be trial in the future. He is I think well liked in society. She would definitely have dinner invitations. Just I think people might talk about them when they leave. Versus Debling, who has what sounds like an empire.
Yes. So you would
Very
have, like, all
rich.
that money and be lonely. Think about that.
I mean, he wants he's estranged from his family. She would not have his family. She wouldn't gain any family. She would have her mother trying to tell her how to spend his money, and her mother would probably move in with her. So there's that
Oh my
too.
god, yes.
And he would travel like she wouldn't even have, she'd be completely alone. She'd be completely isolated because
Yep.
even when he was home, he would turn society against them. Like nobody would invite them to anything because his personality. And like he has understood, he's self-aware to know, like, if I talked about this anymore, I would not have dinner invitations. But they still, like, over time, she would not be getting invited out to places unless he truly died, which we believe he will.
Oh, which
She'd have
reminds
a lot of money and no life. With
yeah,
Colin, she'd have life,
and no money.
money, but still uncertainty.
Right. Which, now that you're making that point about,
If sh
Hmm.
if she wasn't Whistledown.
I was about to say, like, speaking of Whistledown, can you imagine, like, so she gets all of her juicy tidbits by being the wallflower, right?
Mhm.
I feel like the Ton, or at the very least the Queen, would have picked up that she was Lady Whistledown, because Penn, first of all, it would have been a shock that Penn got a marriage proposal, right? I think it would have been a shock to the Ton that Penn got a marriage proposal for 2 reasons. 1, no one paid attention to Penn to begin with. And 2, the people that were in the know and watched how her and Colin interacted, Colin acted very much like they were secretly engaged and they were just waiting for the right moment. So they would have, I feel like half of the Tom would have been surprised because they're like, who is Penelope Featherington? And then the other half would be like, isn't she engaged to Colin Bridgerton? Right. So, first of all, the Tom would be confused. Second of all, I feel like with her being married to Debling, Debling putting people off to where they wouldn't get, dinner invites and society invites and what have you. That means she would have no way to procure the gossip that she could, being out at balls, being in society,
Yep.
being on the wall. I think the first person would have clocked that Lady Whistledown had no new good gossip since Penelope's marriage to Lord Debling would have been the Queen.
Right. I don't think she would have been able to keep Whistledown if she got with Debling because she would have no unfiltered access unless she hosted parties like Lady Trowbridge in season 1, unless she hosted her own parties in the absence of her husband and having to say, "Oh, he's still traveling." Technically, she wouldn't have been able to host a ball without him present. So she wouldn't have been
Right.
able to host balls. He'd have to be dead and she'd have to have an heir. And that's the only way she could do it. So she wouldn't be able to host her own balls. She would hardly get invited out because he would have turned everyone off. And nobody would
Mhm.
invite her as a married woman to a ball without her husband. So she would not have Whistledown.
No, unless
'Cause,
she
what is
managed
she
to
gonna do?
form like
Send her maid? Is she gonna
right,
send her maid to the ball? She would
right.
have to ask Eloise, and that is Eloise's own virtual idea of hell. You want me to sit and listen to people and hear what they talk about? Like, ew, that's gossip gross. Like, yeah, she would lose Whistledown with Debling.
Excuse me.
Full stop. Like, if you truly look at all the facts, look at how Debling is in society. He didn't come out. We knew nothing of Debling until season 3. He had
Yeah,
been gone. Yes, he has a huge estate, but they would not be able to be out in society at all.
right,
Like,
right.
she would lose Whistledown with Debling. She would just flat out lose him.
Yes.
So now there was something else I wanted to say before we switch to the verses things.
Yes. come up when you least expect it.
We are going to move on to the mirror moments of how these gentlemen treat Penelope as a human being.
Yes, because that is important.
These are not every interaction.
Okay.
So, feel free to input if you think another interaction goes with it, or anybody listening, if you want to comment, if there's interactions, if you want to put in your thoughts and opinions, if I missed anything in the end, because this was something we just decided to do today and I threw this together. So,
yeah, bear with us.
First of all, I'm turning into lawyer mode now. So now, we're presenting the case. These are the facts of the case. We were already presenting facts, but we'll count that as opening arguments. Okay.
There we go.
Two men on paper's opening arguments. So I posit that Colin loves Pen for who she is, and Debling tolerates Pen.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think Debling had true romantic feelings for her, and there were certain times that he interacted with her and how he acted that I felt like in the fashion of Antony just looking to fill the Viscountess role and not wanting it to be about love. I think Debling was kind of doing the same thing, only Debling never got to the point where he loved her. Like we saw how Antony was because he loved Kate.
Yeah.
This would have been even worse than a Edwina situation, right? So I think Colin loves Pen, Debling tolerates. So that's where we're going when we get into these. And I have 6-ish points. So
5 or 6.
you and the audience get to be the judge. I'll present and we'll discuss.
Ooh, judge, jury, and execution.
First interaction. What do you think my first interaction is going to be that I'm comparing the two?
Probably the very first encounter with Penelope. So you're probably going to talk about Colin's first interaction when they met at 16, which, doesn't matter if you're talking about the book, show is.
Well, think mirror moments. Think mirror moments. So Debling meets Penelope. What occurs in that interaction?
No, that wasn't the torn dress situation.
Yes, it was.
Wait, was it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Cressida stepped on the dress.
So how did these men handle Penelope being dismissed and demeaned by one Cressida Cowper? Colin.
Penelope, when Penelope's dress was torn by Cressida in season 3, because it was a debut, she got a new look. Debling saw, that, Cressida was faking up. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so clumsy. And he was all like, well, good heavens, accents all, happen all the time. He left her there, even though he witnessed Cressida step on the gown to go fetch a maid to help Penelope fix her dress. Colin runs after her. Those are two totally different situations.
So just the Debling interaction, he is at the vantage point where he sees Cressida plan it and execute it. He knows it was with ill intention, yet he allows Cressida to save face.
So he doesn't defend Pen.
He doesn't defend Pen. He overlooks the poor behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bolts. He's like, I'm going to find somebody to help you with your dress, and takes off.
Yes.
He doesn't deal with the conflict. He doesn't attempt to help in any real way to defend Penelope.
Yes.
Now, we can say that this is due to he doesn't know her yet. But I also think that is because being a defender of women is not in his true nature.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Colin defend his sister. He told his sister where the duel was going to be because that is her life.
Yes.
He brought Eloise a feminist book back from his travels because she's clever and smart and she wants to learn about women's rights. He is a defender of women.
Yes.
And when Cressida throws her champagne on Penelope's dress, he not only calls out Cressida on her behavior by saying, no, my only dance I'm doing is I'm about to take her to the dance floor.
Yes.
So sorry about your luck. Then he takes Penelope to the front of the dance floor where everyone will see them, which I think tells the world that he wanted to court her because he wanted Antony to see it. He wanted the
Yes.
family to see. He wanted everyone to see him dancing with Penelope. I mean, but he handles Cressida in a way that was socially acceptable, was
Tactful.
not misogynistic in any way.
And in defending Penn, he also did not embarrass Cressida.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't misogynistic. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't purposely. She felt embarrassed, as she should, because she
Yes.
acted poorly. But he did not cause embarrassment where other people were. He didn't draw attention to them at all,
No, he did it very
like
discreetly.
he could have. So, not only did he defend Penelope instinctually, there was no question, there was no thought, there was no looking at the situation, what do I do? He immediately jumped, but he also protected Cressida's reputation
Yes, he did.
uh,
He didn't have to do that,
in
but he did.
society as well. He did not have to do that.
No, he did
So,
not.
I think that says a lot about their characters between the two of them. Now, granted, Debling kind of protected Cressida also by saying accidents can happen, but if he was truly pursuing Penn, he should have been like, I saw that, or, you know, you
Be
know
like,
what you
"Nice
did
stuff."
kind of thing. Like, yeah.
Like, "I saw that."
And not to mention, I'm just gonna throw this out there again because it originally was posted in our Facebook group 2 years ago, and we have so many more new members. Scroll back in the annals of our Facebook group and look at my graphic that I did that proved that Debling was involved with the Lord Squad, talking with the Lord Squad before he even approaches Penelope. So there is still part of me that thinks maybe this part of the story was scrapped for time, but I think there was a play because we now know there is a scene that doesn't exist where Fight sicked a woman of the night, a courtesan on Colin at the stag night party, like, and bet to see whether he would go upstairs with her or go home with her or whatever. And he
Mhm.
didn't. But I also think that Fife was betting, like, I bet Bridgerton does have feelings for her and lied to us or, whatever. And I bet if there was competition. So I think Debling started pursuing Penelope as part of a joke.
Which is crazy to think about because it's like, then the marriage would have been a joke. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I mean, but if you think, and I think that's why he didn't propose to her, even they were at the last dance of the night. I think what started out as a joke, he was really worried about having to go through with it, and Colin kind of saved him. That's just a theory based on watching the outskirts of Lady Danbury's ball and who talks to who, and how Debling acts throughout the whole thing. I think Debling was manipulated by Fife in a way. Like, I think there could have been a fleshed out story based on how they staged everything that because if you think about it, it's the rom-com season and the whole story was fashioned after all these rom-coms, right? It was influenced by a ton of rom-coms. And how many rom-coms out there are like She's All That,
Yeah.
like
I bet I can make her
dating.
to like, oh,
Yeah.
the
I bet
prom
I can make
fool.
her popular. Yeah. That starting not fake dating, but the guys putting someone up to dating, asking someone out as a joke or dating someone as a joke. Like, it totally fits.
It does, especially,
So,
that little graphic that we have showing him.
yeah, and so that is my, like, a kind of defense of Debling, like, if this is the case, sure, right?
Mhm.
But otherwise, he looks like not great dude. Now, the second interaction we're going to talk about is when Penn gets awkward in public in front of them.
Yes.
So when Colin is doing the marriage lessons and they're in Hyde Park, they're
Mhm.
promenading, which nobody wants to call it a promenade, but they were promenading together, which tells people they're courting if you look at all the other things about Bridgerton talking about walking in the park.
Yes.
When they walk up, when they are having an interaction on green space, I mean, these two scenes are so mirrors of each other. It's Penn with trying to impress a man. She wasn't in that moment, she wasn't trying to impress Colin as a suitor. She was trying to impress Colin as her teacher. Like, trying to gain his approval, and maybe I am good at this because he thinks I'm good at this. But she epically fails. And there's two or three gentlemen. And then with Debling in public, it's her, Cressida, Eloise, and Debling. So she's trying to gain his approval. And now it's a different kind of awkwardness for Penn where it's her former best friend and her archenemy. Right.
Yeah, just sitting there watching her flounder.
Yeah. So when Colin watches Penn be awkward, how does he handle it? How does he react?
Oh, he reacts by like basically trying to save her. Yeah.
Well, he does step in and try and help her, but he also looks at her like she is the most adorable thing ever.
Yes, he found the whole situation rather charming.
He found it charming, amusing, like, he's just smiling down at her. He feels a little bit of her embarrassment, you can see that. Like, he's embarrassed for her, but he finds it adorable because this is not a Penn he knows. He knows a Penn that talks to him and, like, is clever and doesn't trip over her own tongue. So, this is like a side of Penn he's never seen before, and he finds it utterly adorable.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, there is more to her than I've seen before." You know?
So, think about Debling's reaction to Penelope talking about the sparrow and grass.
Yeah, he was just kind of like, "Is this girl for real?" Like, it was very much giving, like, you know that scene in the rom-com where the nerdy girl has to talk to the hot guy for the first time, and she's so uncomfortable, and she just, like, word vomits all over the place, and the guy's like, "Who are you, and why are you talking to me?" It was giving that kind of energy. Does this chick
He wasn't embarrassed for Penelope. He was embarrassed for himself.
Yeah, like, "You're making a scene."
You're making a scene. You're so bad at this, it hurts. I wish the world would just swallow you up right now. Like, he didn't wanna be there.
No,
When
he
she
didn't.
spoke words, he wished to God he was anywhere else.
Yes.
Please put me anywhere else, right? Like, so Colin finds her not one of her best sides, not one of her best features, adorable, and Debling finds it embarrassing.
Red
Like, how in
flag.
the world is she gonna negotiate with my family? Or how in the world is she gonna manage my estate if she's like this, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is it's there, the pieces are there, but it's kind of a stretch because it's Penelope in competition with another woman. And the reason it's a stretch is because in season 1, I believe Colin loved Penn. I don't think Penelope knew she was competition with Marina. I think she felt competitive because she loved him. But I don't think Penelope ever thought that if she would have spoken her heart, that Colin would have thrown over Marina. You know what I mean? Like, she just never believed Colin would ever want to be with her. So Penelope created that competition. And in season 3, Penelope kind of created that competition because she's always felt competitive to Cressida in a way, comparing herself to Cressida. But I think that Debling took advantage of it for his own gain.
Oh, yeah, he capitalized on her, insecurity, which is what narcissists do.
Which Colin, when Penelope comes to him and first speaks adversely to his union with Marina, he says, "You're too good." Like, he doesn't compare the two. He doesn't, like, where Marina the whole time is like, Colin likes me because I'm a woman. You're basically like his little sister. So Penelope felt that comparison, but it didn't come from Colin. Colin is like, "You're too good." And then he says, "Marina and we are of the same mind."
Yeah, we have an
And
understanding.
I think that whole interaction states, like, he believes Penelope's too good for him, and he's getting with someone that at least we think alike.
Yes.
Like, he couldn't say he loved her. Recently I just saw an edit because there's somebody on TikTok and they don't really have a TikTok name that's like a TikTok name, a handle. It's like different. It, and I don't know if it's the same person just with different accounts or whatever because they seem very similar, the
Mhm.
content. But it was an edit where all the times Colin says I love you to Penn and where Colin says I love you to Marina, which is never, because Marina's like, I love you. And he's like, give me a day. Like, he doesn't even say I love you back. And
Right.
then when
Yeah, I'm going over
he
here.
says when he says I believe myself in love, he's telling Daphne. And people can think it's about Marina. I personally think it's about Penn. I think he had a whole dream in his mind of, I'll get to be close to Penn forever if I marry her cousin. This is my second best. Just like for Penn, Debling was her settlement, her second best, her second choice.
Yes.
If I can't have who I want, he'll do.
Yes. They both were defaulting to their own, like, plan Bs.
Their
Colin and
insecurities.
Penn.
They were focusing on their we got our contingency plan talking contingency plans today.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to
Serendipity.
be. Yes. We love that.
So Colin never treated Penn as inferior to anyone. Even when she said, "But I'm a woman," and he said, "But you're Penn, you're my friend, that's different." That wasn't meant as comparing her to women.
No.
Other women. That actually was telling her that she's part of a hierarchy that she didn't understand. She was special. How he said it is not how she heard it.
No.
And I think that's the issue with a lot of communication in relationships.
Oh my God, the miscommunication.
But when we look at Debling saw that, he was very observant. Debling's quiet, but he's very observant. He observed that Colin loved her. He observed that she was insecure and that Cressida was a bully to her. And he used every bit of that he used it and tried to manipulate it to get what he wanted, which was a wife that would manage his estate. Because he saw Penelope as smart. And when she was snarky at the party that they first talked at by the lemonade table, she was petty and snarky. He was like, oh, maybe she can do this. And then so I don't think he ever looked at her like a romantic partner. I think he was looking at her like a business partner kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So he used Cressida to influence her, to manipulate her, to get her feeling competitive so that she tried harder to get him. Like, he wasn't trying very hard to get her at all. He brought her a damn fern. He brought her a fern.
Yes.
For a present, a fern.
Which is very much in poor taste considering, Anthony brought Edwina a horse. Granted, it was the wrong animal,
Right.
but he went all out and got
for the wrong person, because that wasn't even Edwina's thing.
Oh, I know. Which makes it even better.
He also showed up at her house to ask for permission to propose to her, and then proceeded to make her wait until the end of the ball. Balls did not end. They started at like 6, 7 p.m. and they did not end until well after midnight. Hours this girl waited, and he only wrote his name on her dance card for one dance, and that was the last dance, the waltz. He made her wait that entire time, and that played into her insecurity too. I think he knew she loved Colin, and he was afraid she might say no. So he was trying to make her feel that, what if he doesn't ask me, so that she would say yes, because he was turning her into a pick-me girl, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to coercively control the situation and make her a pick-me girl.
Yes. To ensure that he couldn't pick her up and marry her, because he's like, well, if I get her desperate enough, she'll consent to anything. And then I don't have to fulfill then, he doesn't have to fill his obligations, as a husband. He can just be like, well,
Right. So then my fourth point is, and this one shows like who they're in it for. Because when you love someone, you put their best interest first. So Colin sees that Debling has a title. Colin asks, the Lord Squad, hey, you see that guy Debling? I need to know more about him.
Yep.
Whatever. Finds out he has money, like stupid amounts of money, because he's allowed to be cray-cray and weirdo dude, and he's still part of society because he has so much money.
Cray-cray and weirdo dude, I love it.
Like, he's particular and he's weird, but it's okay to be weird if you have money. So it's kind of like, I've seen all these things like, what is one way if you're rich and one way if you're poor? Like, you're doing the same thing, but it's looked on well if you're rich, but poorly if you're poor.
Yeah, it's like, when you're weird and rich, you're eccentric, but when you're weird and poor, you're just weird. essentially.
Yeah, when you're weird and poor, you're creepy. People worry about you, you know? But, like, asking for handouts. People think it's amazing that rich people get sent free shoes, free clothes, free this, free that, and it's okay because they're rich. But when poor people go on a Facebook group maybe and ask for groceries or ask for something, there is always somebody in the comments that's like, "Do you really need this?" You know what I mean?
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird.
So when Colin sees, now mind you, when Colin finds out about Debling, Colin knows about Dundas. We found out by looking at his desk contents that he has a letter from Dundas asking questions about Colin's involvement in did he invest money and stuff like that. Is a letter on Colin's desk that I found with my wacko magnifier obsession 2 years ago.
I remember that. That was such a time. You had, like, all these
So,
magnifiers, and you had the little headset, like, ugh,
right. I still have it. It's just in my drawer.
I
It
love
gave
it.
myself so many migraines, I can't even read the diaries anymore, like, even with the magnifiers, it's sad, I need younger eyes. But when he knew, okay, this guy has money, he has this estate, so even if Portia loses everything, which is a possibility, and they get cast out of society, Debling saves them. Penelope getting married to Debling literally saves the family if Dundas says, "Hey, we're giving your title to someone else."
Uh-huh.
So Colin sees that Debling can save their family with his title, with his money, with his standing in society, with everything. Penelope would never want for anything. She would have all the money she would need or want in the world. And he knows she's shy and she would not have to, in his mind, even though like he does hang out with her enough to know that she likes to gossip, he doesn't really necessarily see her as liking society because she doesn't really go out and dance that much. She's turned him down for dances,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So he also thinks her social meter runs out, just like her mother. So he sees Debling as a good thing for her because she won't have to society as much,
Yes.
right? I mean, he grew up with Francesca as a sister and they are very similar. So he views Debling as good for Penn
Literally,
and
no.
he tries to stand aside.
Yes, he does.
Literally, I mean, literally almost dies of a broken heart. Like he got so sickly. He looked so sick the night he came back from revelry with the Lord Squad. He looked so sick.
Oh,
Like
yeah, he was
he
about
could
to
have
throw up
taken to
and
his, if Penn would have married Debling, Colin would have taken to his bed and died. He
yes.
would have died of a broken heart within 6 months. I just that's how Luke Newton portrayed it. I think it was beautifully done. I think he just you saw him wasting away. He was wasting away, letting her, giving her to Debling, standing aside. It was killing him, right? But he was going to do it because he loved her.
And he cared about her, and he wanted
When
her happy he valued her happiness over his own selfish, like, needs and desires or what have.
right. Well, I don't even think at that time he thought about her being happy. I don't necessarily think he was thinking happiness. I think he was thinking rescue because Colin is a rescuer.
Okay.
He couldn't rescue her from the fate of what Dundas could bring down. Because at
Right.
this time, he doesn't know she's Whistledown, right? Like, doesn't know she has money. So he thinks Debling can save her, and he can't. Now, we know that Debling is very observant, and we know that Debling confronts her and tells her your thing with Colin Bridgerton. Like, he sees Colin loves her, knows this man loves her, and he's trying to attract her with his money, right? He's never
Yeah.
mentioned love, and he flat out tells her at that dance, like, my work takes up my heart. I don't think there's room for love, basically,
Yes,
right?
which was so devastating. You could see on
But
Penelope's face.
previous to that, he witnesses Colin come up to her and like Colin wanted to kiss her in front of everyone. Could he like Debling saw everything's written on this man's face.
Oh, yeah.
And what does he do?
Still tries to swoop in and take her from.
He does swoop in. He puts his own interests first. He interrupts the conversation, only acknowledges Penelope, so Colin literally cannot speak. I mean, I don't think Colin could speak anyway because he was struggling to speak with Penn, but he also in terms of etiquette, because he is not titled and he is not
Been
an
introduced.
equal, he's not had not been introduced to Debling before, because we know that because he asked other people about Debling. He's never met and talked to Debling. Because Debling does not acknowledge him, he cannot speak. He can no longer speak.
Debling
And
used the rules of society against him in that moment so that Colin could not swoop in and take his, and take and away from him, essentially.
right, and then he puts his hand out and he leads Penelope away from Colin. He stops the conversation before Penelope figures out or Colin blurts out that he loves her, because Debling knows his chances are over at that point. And he's not seeking chances because he loves her in any way, shape, or form. He did not care if Penelope had love. He wanted Penelope's mind and the fact that she was
Independent.
in his mind ostracized from society, because he only looked at two women the whole season.
Yes.
And they were the lost causes. I mean, he was trying to help the Greydock anyway. He has a thing for lost causes. But he was only pursuing the two most desperate women because he knew he would never love anyone. He thought he could save someone. He wanted to save a lost cause from spinsterhood and have her be so grateful that she would be willing to take on his colossal estate and do battle with his clingy, needy family day in and day out so that he could go off and play with the birds.
Yes. Which is diabolical. Absolutely diabolical.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He definitely planned this one.
Planned or not planned, I don't think Colin was part of his plan. I honestly think he thought Penelope had no options.
Or attachment. Or any
Because
kind of
Colin did,
attachment.
after Colin was given the cut by Penn at the garden party, he didn't come anywhere near her at that party.
No.
I think he planned on it, because he definitely, when you look at the pan out, when Debling first approaches her, Colin is all the way across the room talking to the two Lord Squad people, but you can see there is an edit. There's one screen, a couple of screens where you see he is looking, he is watching. He knows Debling approached her. He knows she's talking to Debling. And then she leaves upset. So when she leaves upset, and he doesn't even notice her dress is torn, when she leaves upset, he thinks he's going to have to go box.
Yeah.
And Colin is a lover, not a fighter.
Oh, yeah, in every sense.
But I think he was ready to box Debling. He was like, "You made my Pen cry. I can't have it." But he had to go find out the truth from Pen first before he made mistakes.
Before he declared a duel, besmirching the lady's honor.
Like, look, I know if I challenge someone to a duel, I could die. So I need to know the real facts first.
Yeah. Like, before I bleed out for you, darling, let me make sure.
Okay, so I have 2 points left. So point 5 is when they believed they were going to lose her. So we'll start with Debling. When Colin interrupts the dance and he realizes Colin is going for broke, how does Debling handle it?
Let's see. So this would be around season 3, episode 4.
Yeah,
At the Queen's Ball.
Queen's Ball. Mm-hmm.
When he notices, because I'm thinking about that scene. It's snow on the beach is playing Taylor Swift. Penelope's lost in thought, but she's also terrified because she realizes that this is like her chance that she's going to say yes to Debling, and then she would not have Colin anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he
she's
noticed,
asking questions about love.
yes, and he was just kind of like, yeah, my work takes so much of my heart. I don't think I could give it to another person. But he was like, but I can give you security. He's like, I can't give you love, but I mean, like, I could give you security. And
Well, and he says he tries to compliment her in that moment, and like, you look very beautiful tonight. Tonight, like, not all the time. Not you are beautiful. You look beautiful tonight, right?
Yeah,
I
he
think
said, "You
that's
look
very
especially
telling.
beautiful tonight, Miss Feather."
Because I mean, we could add that as a point too. Because when Colin finally tells Penn she's beautiful, it is you are beautiful.
Yes,
Not you look beautiful. It's you are beautiful.
because words matter.
But when Colin interrupts He goes off. Cressida dances with him. When the song is over, what does Debling do?
He's he walks right past Penn and makes Penn chase.
Stalks past. Like, he sucks all of the energy in the room. He draws attention to himself purposely.
Yes.
He wants the room to know he's angry that this dance was interrupted. And for Penn, for Penn to know she fucked up. Pardon my French. Like, he wanted Penn to know she made the wrong choice by allowing Colin to interrupt. Because Colin, she allowed it. She allowed it.
Yeah,
We're used to that. We're used to that at the ladies' Bridgerton. It's okay. She was coughing, folks. But she allowed it. So he was letting her and the whole room know that he was displeased with one
she
Miss
did.
Penelope Featherington.
She made in his eyes, a faux pas. How dare you interrupt me when I was complimenting you and about to, offer you to take your hand in marriage? Like, how dare her let this third son come in and interrupt my moment?
And I really am glad we're having this conversation because you and I both have a history with a covert narcissist, not overt. I think Tasha's experience was with a overt narcissist. And I believe Debling is covert. I believe that he presents as a weird guy, sure, but he presents as a good guy. Like, he's quiet, but he seems nice. He seems this, but he's very covert. And in this moment, this really does give me the feeling of being out in public with my ex-husband, and maybe I say something that embarrasses him or he doesn't like or whatever, and his whole demeanor changes. And although he doesn't say anything to me directly, like, I know and everyone in the room knows that he's angry. Like, he's not coming off as truly angry. He's coming off as very controlled. But I know when we're alone, the shit's gonna hit the fan, right? And that's kind of what happens here, although it's still public humiliation. Like, Debling is not in private when he throws over Penelope.
No.
And that's what Portia has told the whole ton that he is going to propose. And now the whole ton is witnessing a very public breakup. This wasn't sure, Edwina ran away from the altar in season 2, but the actual breakup occurred after, and it was very quiet, and they played it off like, oh, we're united. We decided this together. Like, this was very public. You couldn't question what it was. Penelope was openly rejected publicly from the man that her mother had gone around town saying he was going to propose.
Yeah. My daughter's going to have an offer very soon from one Alfred Debling in very advantageous marriage indeed.
So
Again.
So honestly, if Colin had not proposed that night, the Featheringtons would not have been in society anymore.
That would have been a scandal they couldn't.
They're not the Bridgertons. They would not have recovered from that at all. If Colin really was a we're just friends kind of dude, they would have not recovered.
Oh, absolutely.
At all. Or, honestly, too, I think Anthony might have swooped in at that point and said, Colin, you have to marry her because you're the one who did this. You interrupted their dance just because you were trying to play dad, trying to play father figure and tell her who she could marry. But, that's a very different show. We're talking about a romance. So honestly, Debling dismissed her, demeaned her, acted like she was lying to him, basically blaming her. And when she's like, Colin doesn't have those kind of feelings for me, then he treats her like she's dumb at first. The only sincere thing he says in that whole interaction is, basically, I don't know what you're searching for, but I hope you find it. Because it's not going to be me. Right? And then he stalks off. So he publicly humiliates Penelope, publicly humiliates her family, right?
Oh, yeah. So that's.
And honestly, if we look at how Debling treats her family, like, he is tolerating, like, at the library scene and everything, he's tolerating her mother, but he's looking at her like, your mother's cray, right? Like, he looks at Portia, then he looks at Penn like, is this for real?
He's like side-eye.
Colin is always kind about Penelope's family. He wants to help Penelope's family. Has always been there.
Yes.
Now, when Colin thinks he's going to lose Penelope, when he is told she's going to be proposed to, what does he do?
He tries to save her from that marriage. He's like, "Pen, you cannot marry him. You know, did you know that he's gonna be leaving for 3 years?"
I don't necessarily, I mean, yes, it's Colin. He's a saver. I think he was thinking, I don't think he was thinking he was saving her from Debling that man, although that's how he presented it because that's how she had come to him about Marina.
Yes.
Like, I need to save you from Marina. Marina does not love you, right?
Yes, very much.
But he was trying to save himself. He could not. In the end, he realized it wasn't what was best for Penn was love. Penn wanted love. Penn deserved love. Penn didn't get a lot of love in her life,
No.
right? And
The only love she got.
He doesn't know to what extent yet, but in the end he realized what was best for Penn was love, that you can't be and he had to have recently found out Debling was leaving
Yes.
because he didn't know at the balloon scene. And we won't even get into how each of them try and rescue Penn and how it makes them look like all Colin can think about is Penn and saving her life. And Debling wanted it to look like but he used Penelope's body as a shield. He jumped behind her, but he was not going to save her at all.
Yeah.
Tangent. Sorry. I keep thinking of other things that I'm like, the two of there really is a clear winner in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Without it.
So, but Colin goes for broke. Colin realizes his ego is not more important than just getting the love of his life.
Correct.
He literally chases a carriage. He literally potentially, first of all, he throws over all of his friends. Like when he says "get out of my way" and shoulders his way. I mean, he doesn't say "get out of my way" in the scripting that we don't have. He says "f you," but or F off or something, but he shoulders past them. So guess what? We're not friends anymore. So he throws over his crappy friends.
Which was awesome.
He throws away his ego, threatens public humiliation of himself, like he's going to insert himself into the proposal. He's worried she's already been proposed to, or he interrupts a proposal. Everyone's watching, so he threatens scandal on his whole family, on himself. Well, this time, I mean, the other time it was Marina doing it, Marina and Portia. This time is really him. Like, he's doing this. Then he chases a carriage. And then in a deleted scene, we know he basically tells Eloise to F off,
Yeah.
like, stay out of my business. He chases the carriage and then throws himself at her feet on his knees. Like, I mean, Colin went for broke. Did he propose to you? No. He gets on his knees. That whole thing, I mean, we all look at it like, these are the first times he's expressing his feelings, so it sounds more like physical attraction and I can't stop thinking about you and whatever. But Colin Bridgerton was proposing to her. He's on his knees. That's the best he couldn't be on one knee. His legs are too long. That carriage is tiny. He was on his knees proposing to the love of his life, only you don't realize that's what it is because he's literally trying to say all the things at once, like begging her to see him, to see what he's saying. And she's like, "But we're friends." Like, because she's dissociated. She's like, "I'm dreaming. Pinch, pinch. What is this?"
Yeah, she's like, "There's no way this man is on both of his knees after chasing me in a carriage." She's like,
she's
It must have been the wine. I'm sorely overcome. There's no."
And honestly, Colin has come to her rescue so many times. She's probably like, of course, you're gonna come to my rescue.
Yep.
Of course, like you're saying nice things to me because I'm sad. Like, no, like
It's
don't
like,
say
ugh,
it unless you mean it.
it's like, "Go home, Colin."
Yeah,
It's like
don't say it unless you mean it. Don't say things you do not mean. You are
like,
just trying to save me. You feel the need to save me.
that was
That's the whole thing.
when she said that, she's like, "Please do not say things you do not mean." She was like she was like, "Oh my god, this is what I've always wanted to hear." She's all like,
Yeah.
"This has to be another cruel joke." Like, she was as much as Colin
No,
was like
she thinks it's fake. She thinks Colin's being nice because Colin is nice. And that's what makes his end of episode 8, his season end love confession, that one is so special because she knows he means it. He stuck by her through the whole whistle down thing. And protected her through the Whistledown thing when she didn't want it revealed before she decided to reveal it herself. Like, what he said in the carriage has now stood the test of, I can't say time really, but trial,
Oh, yeah,
right?
they went through a huge, difficult trial together from the engagement to the
What
marriage. You know, it
And
was
knowing what we know about Debling, how would Debling react to finding out she was Whistledown?
oh, it would have been a shit show. It would have been all about how she's an embarrassment to him and how she
He would
lied
annulled
to
it.
him. Oh, yeah, he would not have wanted anything, but and it's just funny
Okay.
that,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say
I
it's
interrupt a
funny
lot. Go ahead.
and it was just funny that you said that Devlin would annul it because it's like, that's the very thing that Portia said that Colin Bridgerton would.
Exactly.
Yeah. She has the right plan of action, but the wrong map. Because think about it.
Well, and I think that
Colin
her
Co
mother her mother thinks every man is like that. Every man is like Debling, but Colin just is not.
and it's like, when Cressida came out as Whistledown, what was the first thing Lord Greer did? Rescinded his, you know,
Mhm.
interest in
Rescinded
marrying
his yeah.
yeah, his interest in Cressida, and I'm
Yep.
just like,
There was no real interest there. That was just ick. Icky ew.
well, he rescinded his offer of marriage, I should say. But no, I don't think
Yeah.
that was an offer. I think wasn't that totally planned by her father, Lord Ca
Oh, yeah, they were marrying her off to one of his aged friends. Yeah,
so gross.
yeah. So my last thing is that when you love someone, you bring out a good love match, a good match, full stop, whether it's love or not. You bring out the best in the other person. Now, Antony and Kate are very similar in how stubborn and obstinate they are, but they literally come into their king and queen era because they really give off king and queen
Oh, all that.
because they challenge each other. They're bringing out the best in each other to be their best selves.
Yeah.
Daphne, who had to be perfect because she was the first daughter, and Simon, who couldn't do anything right and never believed he would be perfect, they both bring out the best in each other because they allow each other to be imperfect.
Yes, which
You're
is beautiful.
lovable even if you're imperfect. So with Colin, when we look at everything Colin says about Penelope, what he sees in Penelope, and what he brings out in her that she doesn't see in herself, truly is confidence. Confidence, telling her she's clever, thinking of
Mhm,
everything he says that is not about beauty. He does say you are beautiful, but being beautiful is more than looks, right?
mhm.
So when Debling, how do I put this? When Debling encourages Penelope to be herself, that it's okay to him, how is Penelope acting?
Nod her simply.
I mean, aside of herself, the Whistledown side,
Yeah.
she's being snide and petty. She says it's a boring party, like this party is dead, right? What does the animal on the wall have? It's dead. Yes, much like this party. She's being snide but clever,
Yes.
right?
And that made him go like, "Ooh."
But it wasn't just the cleverness that attracted him in that moment that made him think I think it was the snide he was encouraging her to be snide. You don't have to hide that. You can talk like that around me. That's fine. That's okay. Like, he was promoting the side of Penelope that was the Whistledown that people didn't like, right?
Mhm,
Penelope was trying to be a different Whistledown, and that's her arc. Like, she started Whistledown for herself. Everybody fell in love with Whistledown, but then when she started writing Whistledown to please others, to build her empire, to make more money, to please her readership, then she started getting more snide, more petty, and
mhm,
then when she realized in season 3, no, I want to go back to what I was doing before. I want to uplift people.
mhm.
She's still like, she's gaining more readership because she's gaining all the women that wouldn't have been mentioned in Whistledown before, that would have gone unnoticed,
Yep.
and that's her arc, and Eloise was bringing that out in her, like, you know, without knowing it. Like, Whistledown could do so much with her power that she's not doing, you know? And then I think just the whole arc with Colin makes her realize, like, in season 4, flat out, she's like, I'll talk about you, Benedict, but I can't mention her dress. I can't mention and this or that because when everybody saw you guys leave and you were on a terrace alone with this girl, and if I mention anything that draws attention to what she looked like or whatever, I'm hurting her reputation and I won't do it. Like Penelope had elevated as Whistledown to where she would not hurt other people with Whistledown
Yes.
anymore.
Yes, which was a beautiful arc that she needed to go through.
Right. So, in closing, my closing arguments, obviously, is that Debling's guilty.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Debling's guilty. Colin is innocent. Not really. I mean, he has his moments, like the comment. We'll bring up the comment. And if we'll look at this way. Penelope has felt public humiliation, true public humiliation.
Her basically ever
Well,
since she came out
we'll
to
say
society.
we'll say three major times in her life. One of was Cressida and Eloise caused. That's the full moon ball where everybody found out and said, "Hey, like, what are you doing?"
Yes.
But that one is like between the two men. One is when she heard Colin say he would never court her and she ran off and he's telling a group of people in public.
Yes.
The other one is Debling rejecting her to her face at a ball being thrown by the queen.
Yeah, that was not
And
great.
everybody's seeing it, including the queen. So I think in that moment too, Penelope realizes that Colin was saying something to a group of people for that group of people that may or may not have been true. Because sometimes you have to say things like, as she was learning this season, sometimes you have to say things to mask your true feelings, right?
Oh, yeah, she was playing a part very
There's different than somebody saying something and unintentionally hurting your feelings
Mhm.
or, whatever. And there's another, like, telling you all the same stuff basically to your face in front of people is very different than behind your back in front of people, kind of. Because Debling was very deliberate. Colin was unintentional. It was inadvertent. Did he put her down? Sure. Was he speaking poorly about his friend behind her back? Yes, but I also think that he knew those guys were
buttheads.
not cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Lord Squad has probably been, like first of all, it's one of my favorite nicknames to give them, but just seeing, like, toxic masculinity like that up close and personal, like,
Mhm.
it really set a
And I
precedent.
think if you look at what he said, he goes, "I would never dream of courting Penelope Featherington, not in your wildest dreams, Fife." He was playing it off like a joke. He was not speaking poorly of Penelope. He was saying Penelope was out of his league. I would never dream of courting Penelope Featherington, not in your wildest dreams, Fife. If you look at the wording of that, to me, that is like, she'd never have me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which, goes
So
back to
there's
what
a,
you were saying about season 3, about how, like, in season 1, Daphne and Simon complement each other because they realize that you don't have to be perfect to accept, Kate and Anthony, they challenge each other, so therefore they bring out the best in each other from challenging each other. And now we
Mhm.
have season 3, which is the theme, love can bring out your confidence, because Colin and Penn are, insecure in their confidence.
Right. Well, and I think most people look at that as a friends to lovers, like the relationship has to evolve at some point to cross that line. And I don't think that's the case for them. I think it was just poor communication. They both felt like they didn't deserve the other person.
Which it
And once they both
ties into
said, "I
confidence.
want you,"
Yes, game over.
it's not about deserving anymore. Even
Yes.
if I don't deserve you, I want you. Then they were like, "But I want you too." Oh, duh. Like, what have we been waiting for? You know what I mean?
Ye
Like, yeah. So season 3 is definitely like, we should have said this sooner. Like, we we already know everything there is to know about each other, but we're also learning that we're never going to always know everything about each other.
Exactly.
And we get to keep learning, and that's what makes it fun.
Without a doubt.
So I mean, and this pretty much says like I don't look at Debling as a nice guy. So there's that.
Yes, we already have your confirmation bias arguments against Lord Debling.
But I will say this, if they would have cultivated the staging of Lady Danbury's ball and played into that Fife egged him on, much like Fife kind of eggs on Colin in the revelry night, like to try and get him to talk about rando women encounters, I think that would have shown Debling more of being a nice guy being manipulated. Like he's thrown into this for a joke also. He's not wanting to do it, but he keeps, there was a kind of missed opportunity there that would have played that very differently because Debling was there and then he wasn't. And as a plot device, I do think Debling was necessary. Not that I think they need to have a love triangle in every scene or in every season, but I think he was necessary. There had to be a catalyst for Colin and Penn to both speak their hearts. And what was that going to be? It was either like when we were talking beforehand about there needed to be a scene like the scene at the balloon thing where the Lord Squad is like, oh, he's weird, but because he has all this money, people forgive him for it. It's okay. And I was saying that there needed to be a conversation where they were talking about why is he courting Cressida and Penn? And, oh, well, that's a battle of personality versus looks, and Colin just being completely obtuse to what they're talking about. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, Cressida's beautiful, but dumb, but cruel.
Yeah.
And Penelope may be nice. Penelope may be, but she's not exactly the caliber of the women standing over there. And Colin's like, no, first of all, I'm not going to speak to my sister's beauty, but she's the prettiest girl over there. And then them just be like, why aren't you courting her, Bridgerton? Like, why aren't you pursuing her?
Like,
that could have been a catalyst.
And he'd be like, oh, that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, you're right. I should.
Yeah. Thanks for that lovely idea.
So there needs to, in all friends to lovers, there needs to be a catalyst that gets them across that line. And for these two, because they're not communicating, I think Debling was necessary. But I didn't exactly like him all that much as a character.
Oh, no. But, we can't frown upon how we get to where, we can't all
Debling
look at
was a pawn. Was he Fife's pawn? Was he Shondaland's pawn? Whatever. He was a pawn.
It's like
I will end the pod saying poor Debling.
Oh, there you go.
He got used as a pawn in Colin and Penelope's romance, and then he sails off to die in the Northwest Passage.
I know. It's like,
R.I.P.
It's like, was it worth it? It's like,
he goes to heaven going, God, I need a do-over.
Yeah. Can you send me back? I didn't finish my life work. I didn't save the great.
Yeah. So everybody listening, come see us over in our Facebook group, The Ladies Bridgerton, or join us in our Tangent Squad Facebook Messenger chat, or comment on Spotify, comment on YouTube, comment, send us the comments. Let us know did we present enough evidence showing finally that Colin is the better choice. Although not better on paper, he is the ultimate better choice for Penelope. We welcome your thoughts. And if you like us, if you enjoy this content, and, today, Tosh, we miss you so much.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed, Kay, I enjoyed having you on. This was fun.
Oh, yeah. The contingency plan, sharing a contingency. Literally.
So if you guys enjoy us, please subscribe. That will help us in our current predicament on YouTube.
Yes.
But we really do enjoy interacting with everyone and just talking about Bridgerton is awesome.
I know.
Oh, yeah. Post Bridgerton news. I forgot to say, I finally joined up with everyone else and got my minis from Five Below. I got my mini Pen and my mini Colin.
I'm so excited for you.
I'm so excited. They're going to go on my shelf. So once again, thank you for listening to the musings of two mad women.
Absolutely.
So you are yours truly who?
I am yours truly, your favorite third wheel, Kay, from Northeastern,
and Lady Patti.